Hey, what's up, and welcome to the All-In Networker Podcast. This podcast started because myself, Dan McCabe, had a question. The question was, how do you build a big team fast in network marketing? So I asked a good mentor of mine, Dr. David Pietsch, who is a Hall of Famer, 250,000 customers in his downline, tens of thousands of representatives, and he just started spilling the beans. Started telling me everything, not just what worked in the past, but what he is doing in the future to really grow and build his business. I said, hey doc, this needs to be a thing. And he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're going to turn this into a podcast. So here it is, the secret straight from his mouth into your ears. Whatever we can do to help you and the industry grow is what we're here for. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's get started. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the All-In Networker Podcast. Dan McCabe here with my co-host and the man himself, Dr. David Pietsch. What is new in the world today, Doc?
Global domination, Daniel.
Global domination. Wake up every day, think about it, be about it. Someday you'll get it, right? So
I think that's true.
I know you're back in the frozen tundra in Minnesota with, where I live as well, about 25 minutes away from me. But we woke up this morning and there's a little bit of frost out there. So
41
how are you enjoying that? Yeah?
41. That's not right.
No, it isn't.
It's not like a 50-degree swing from Vegas. So,
yeah. For October 2nd, I don't know. So, global domination, that works perfectly into our topic for today. Today I wanted to talk about, and you're always open to my ideas, which is nice, but about building legacy, because that's something that we are doing within marketing and training within your team and your organization. And what you're building now is kind of entering this third phase, which I call the legacy phase. So there's a couple phases before that. First, the building freedom phase and the building wealth phase. The building freedom phase, I'm going to kind of steal a line from you, but it's kind of the first one where it's getting your residual income up to cover your residual bills. We've talked about this topic a handful of times lately, but you've seen a lot of people kind of going through this building freedom phase. Actually, I bet you've talked to a lot more people that are thinking about the legacy before they even handle the freedom. So what do you think about those three phases that people go through in their mind anyways?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I think anybody that gets up and going in network marketing eventually starts getting some sort of residual coming in. And once they've got that, they're starting to think, well, if I do more, eventually I'll get it so I can cover my bills by at least $1 and then I'd be free. I think everybody has that thought if they're seriously building. So phase one, that is exactly right.
Yeah. So, and I would, when you're selling anything, you're selling any kind of product, your first sale's kind of always the hardest. Your first sale's harder than your next 10 sales. Your first 10 sales are harder than your next 100 because you start getting better at it. I would imagine that building freedom phase, getting to that point where your residual income is $1 over your residual bills for most people is harder than the building wealth phase.
No, for sure. Because they get discouraged along the way. They get their feelings hurt. They don't think that they can do it. It takes way longer than they think it's going to take. And they just quit, or they slow way down. They don't put as much energy into it. They get magically, consumed doing other things in their life. And so, that first, for most people, it might take a couple of years, is for sure the roughest, because they're always thinking in the back of their mind, is it worth it? If I keep doing this, I'm not making hardly any money. Is this worth, what am I doing? So many people, especially the people that come to the table already successful, whether they're in mortgage or chiropractor or whatever, they do so much work and they make so little money in the first year compared to what they've done in the past that they have a tough time justifying that to their spouse or to themselves. And we lose them that way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, especially for those people that are in that phase, the spouse justifications, those become harder because they're dealing with now, or they still just have enough money to cover their bills in their normal life, but plus they're taking time away, which is difficult. When you built your business was prior to getting married and having kids, but I've dealt with that plenty as an entrepreneur. It's like kind of dealing with both and how do you juggle in that balancing act? That's a whole nother episode and a whole nother podcast. So I can see where that's, it's difficult for a lot of people. So as people are kind of working through that phase, one of the harder things I think too, and you're talking about the mindset of it, is that we're successful when we're constantly being excited, when we're getting those dopamine hits to the brain. Like you hear all those people that talk about brain science these days, and you get these dopamine hits, they make you a little more excited, and then you want to go do a little bit more. But those first couple of years, like you might get a few at the beginning, but otherwise it's a lot of time of getting your head kicked in with like where the dopamine hit gets further spread out. That next rank gets a little further away. That next goal gets a little bit further away. So it's definitely grind time. And then once you get to that freedom phase, that's got to be the ultimate dopamine rush, which makes the wealth building phase a little easier. Like, what was your transition like, or did you even notice it? Because your business was so different. You already had a successful business. You weren't exactly hurting to pay your bills while you were building your business. But was there a point where you saw your residual numbers hit to where it covered your residual bills, and then was it this hit where you were just able to step on the gas that much harder to push yourself into that wealth phase?
Yes. I set lofty goals once I really decided to do it. But in the back of my mind, my backup point was, well, at least I'll get income coming in higher than my residual bills. But once I did have that, I knew that I just had to keep doing what I did, to get to that point longer. So I'm like, I can literally pass everybody in my upline. I can literally be the number one income earner, and so I really just never took my foot off the pedal. And everybody knows 1,000-day run, never missing a day, all that kind of stuff. But I think what happens, if I can just kind of maybe go off topic a little bit, this is what I think happens in that initial phase. You get people that come into your organization that start to do it without you. And you think that they're ready. You think that they're just like you, and you can just let them go and take your foot off the pedal and, oh, I got Dan in, so I'm good to go. And you're so greatly mistaken, because they're not ready. They just signed up 60 days ago. They haven't been to any major event. They haven't had any leaders leave or have attrition happen or, hit the wall, have a big, massive plateau. None of those things have happened. They're not ready. And you are gravely mistaken. You have got to take people that want to do it and will it into existence with them. You're right there with them for years. For years, you're pouring into them. I don't care if that means you're taking your personals and giving it to them. And if it's a binary, you're building their left and their right, or whatever your comp plan is, you're just helping that person make money and become full-time over a long period of time. That is the biggest mistake that I think people make in network marketing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it happen since I work so closely with your team and everybody on it. I've been around it where it's not uncommon when you build a big organization. I mean, your numbers are larger than most, but for you to, lose somebody who's a leader. I mean, you've had leaders that, have 1,000 plus 2,000 people on their teams. They've hit pretty significant ranks, leave and take 1,000 or 2,000 people with them in one fell swoop, right?
Absolutely.
And that's a hard thing for a lot of people to deal with, because realistically, for the average household income in the US anyways, when you get to, I mean, you don't need to quite be at that rank to be full-time and making full-time residual income. So I think what you're saying is that you just need to push people a lot further than you think that you need to. Like, they need to get to a point so deep, so big that you need to take them to, that they just can't quit, can't go anywhere, can't leave, or if nothing else, there's people underneath them that have started leading and doing things. I guess I don't even know when you recognize it. Do you ever really stop? I mean,
well,
you
you can get it to a point where it's so big that you can, and you'll know that, when you really become a professional, you'll be able to really realize how solid your organization really is. But, I'm just thinking of a guy on my team, chiropractor. When I met him, he was in school to be a chiropractor. And all I did is realize this is a person that's teachable. He's coachable. He gets people in front of me. He can close. He can lead. He can present. He had everything that I was looking for. So all I did is just kept pouring into him year after year after year after year. And now today, he's better at the business than I am. No joke. Putting in more numbers than me, and that's really what it is. You find people that really want it, and you move heaven and earth to help them. And so my goal for him all along was to have him, once he graduated chiropractic school, not be a chiropractor and do network marketing as a profession. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And That's the nice thing about this industry. You can pour into somebody so much and your goal for them is to make them better than you. And that's a really good thing for you.
It's happened a handful of times, and we'll take it all day long.
It's kind of the goal of how do I make people better than me? And it's crazy, just to further go off topic, it's crazy when upline leaders see somebody getting better than them and then they try to suppress them, because that's happened in companies plenty of times over the years.
That's happened in my own downline, and those leaders are not here, and they're never going to go as big as they could because they want fame more than they want wealth.
Well, it's the ego that gets involved, and you're right, they're not around. And those are actually a lot of times the people that will leave at some point. I mean, so that's something to look for and to recognize, but they'll leave and take a significant chunk of downline with them because they've got some influence over them. But it's also because their ego gets in the way and they see the shiny object. They see it somewhere else. They see something else, the new startup company, the new startup CEO who's like, come over here. We're going to make you the star. We're going to put you at the top of everything. When we all know it's something like 95% of network marketing companies don't make it 2 years, or it's some crazy big number. I know.
Well, I mean, all I can tell you is in my company, when I started, as you know, Dan, I set the record to hit the highest rank in the company, but there was another gal that started the same time I did, and they used to always compare me to her. And I would, not to de-edify her, but I just used to always think, you got to be kidding, but they did. And, as time has gone by, she left our company after, maybe 5 or 6 years, but, she's gone on to like do 9 different companies since then. And nowhere in any of them has gotten close to the glory that she once had over here with us. And, that's just you believing your own press, that you think that you're better than you are, that a certain number of people are going to follow you when they don't, and the grass is not greener. And so there's just so many lessons you learn there, from that. So my advice would be, the grass is not greener. Stay the course, work hard, because you've got to work on your skills. You got to be able to put new people in, start new teams. You got to be tough. You got to be the kind of person that people want to follow. You got to be likable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not sure who you're talking about there, but I could just see that. I mean, network marketers, especially somebody like the example that you just gave, like you can kind of make that move once. You can maybe make that move one time and some people will follow you. But after that, 9 times, like who's left after 9 times?
There's no residual income there. You have a low paying sales job. You'd be better off going door to door selling Kirby vacuum cleaners. Hey, Dan, I got a Kirby. You want to buy one? It'll last a lifetime and make your $500 commission. I mean, it's a joke. That's not residual income.
Right.
These people that say the word industry, it drives me nuts because I'm just in my company. I just do that company. I'm not an industry guy. I don't like the industry people in network marketing. I'm just a my company guy. And if you have that mentality, you're going to be way better off.
Right. Yeah. Oh, we talk about that regularly, just that whole belief system and having the belief in your company and yourself and what you're doing. It has to be there. And I'm guessing that's why people do leave. Well, that's one of the reasons some leaders will leave is, their belief wavers, or they, somebody gives them a really good skill.
The real reason why they leave is they're not winning. They've hit a wall and they feel like they've built up some equity with the other people in their own company. And they think, okay, if I go over here to this company, then I can go pillage my ex company and talk bad about it and get some of those people to come over, and my team will be bigger now and stronger. And what they don't realize is less than 10% of the people come with you, and those people that come with you are the bottom feeders, and they never put enough people in. And now your income has gone down about 70 to 80%, and you're sucking wind, and you've lost all your friends and all your credibility. So if you want to do that, you go knock yourself out.
All right. We're gonna digress from the tangent here a little bit, because I'm thinking about this, and everything we just talked about the last 5 minutes has nothing to do with building freedom or building wealth.
That's part of getting to the point of freedom. You're going to have to go through those things if you really want to get it. And we started talking about it is because most people won't, last long enough to get to the point where the income is higher than the residual bills. Like you can get it there for a couple of months, but to have it be stable and have it be a real thing, it's just like any other business. You've got to build it, and it takes time.
Yeah, that reminds me of like companies and car bonuses. I know they have one in your company, and so you've seen it a bunch of times, but you see it in other companies as well, where somebody hits that car bonus for a month and they go and get the car, and they don't hit the car bonus again ever, and then they're stuck with the payment. So
Yeah.
same idea, but they're like, I got it, boom, it's never going down. So all right, so building freedom to building wealth, because and the reason I created this building wealth phase in there, because you shot a video. I'm not even sure which video it was at this point. We have so many videos that are out there, but I remember you had a line in there that you basically said that you built a life beyond what you thought was imaginable when you first were starting out in this business. And that's what wealth is. Your goals weren't necessarily, it doesn't sound like, to have that big house in Las Vegas, be able to take all the trips you want to do, spend 2 months a year in Hawaii or whatever it was, all the vacations. So you kind of took it beyond that, and you built this wealth lifestyle. So as you got through the build freedom lifestyle, you knew your life was taken care of. Did you reset new goals that were, all right, now I want this wealthier lifestyle? What did that look like to you? Or was it just kind of were you just blinders on, keep going, I have no real end goal for what I want my life to look like?
Well, I mean, once I made the decision to sell my practice 10 years ago, I had built it up so huge that I was able to walk away, sell my clinic, move to Las Vegas, and pretty much go off the grid. It's not like I did nothing for the last 10 years, but certainly probably 95% less than I had done the first 3. Like, no joke. Yeah. I built it up to a monstrous level, and all I wanted to do was keep it. I didn't want to have to spend more time to get it to go higher. I just wanted to keep, hey man, I got a huge amount of money coming in every single month. I have a wife now, I've got kids, I want to spend time with them. I was just exactly where I wanted to be. And so everybody's got different goals. They change all the time, and that's the way that it should be. But, I think one of the smartest things I ever did is I convinced myself, because I think most people in network marketing, especially the leaders who are the generic leaders, tell you that you have to just keep going and going and going and going, and it's just never ending. You've got to do this forever. And I just completely and vigorously disagree with that. In network in human history, I just want to be known as a person that loved my wife, loved my daughters, and lived a good life. And I'm not worried about what other people think. I'm not competing with all the other network marketers in the world. My day in and day out life is rock and roll, and I wouldn't trade it with anybody's. So, you do it for your reasons, I do it for mine, but I turn the jets off for the most part, and it's allowed me so far, and it's still running, but 10 years of time and money, and way more money every month than we need.
Yeah. And I was having this conversation with somebody else yesterday too. Or actually, I think I did a live in our VIP All-In Networker group, and it was kind of talking about this exact same topic about what you did there and how you're able to take that time off, and about getting started on building and getting through that wealth phase, because people leave the conference room at the back of the Holiday Inn, whether they're already in network marketing or they're seeing it for the first time, and they already see themselves in the yacht when they haven't sold the thing yet. But you always need to start somewhere, and you need to get your 1,000 days going, or your 90 days going, or you got to go in there and you got to put in that burst of energy eventually at some point if you want to achieve, kind of bouncing around there. I lost my train of thought a little bit, but if you want to achieve any of those goals, I remember where I was going with that now. I've had this thought, and I've mentioned it to you before, and I said it out loud to the people there, that a lot of people listen to your 1,000 days and they're like, 1,000 days, that sounds ridiculous. Like, how could I ever do 1,000 days? If I start right now, that's 1,000 days. That's 3 years of my life. I don't want to give that up. But if you ask that exact same person, you could go back 13 years and give up 1,000 days and not work the next 10 years. Would you do it? And they're all like, oh yeah, I'd go back and do it if I could. So it's just such a different mentality, a different mindset around, kind of that revisionist, and as opposed to just getting started right now with their 1,000 days. So, did we lose you there, Doc? Are you still there? You're there? All right. Yeah, you were a little frozen there for just a second. So I'll keep going here, and then we'll bring you back in here in just a moment. The next phase, kind of beyond building wealth. I'll talk about this just a little bit, and hopefully you'll catch what I'm saying. So I know with where you're sitting right now, between the income that you made, the financial decisions that you made along the way, you're set up for the rest of your life. Your kids, your wife, your daughters, they're theoretically set up for the rest of their life. So, you got the wealth piece covered. So the next phase is building legacy. And let's talk about that a little bit. But first, you still there? You still a little choppy there?
I can hear you just fine on my end, so I'm good.
Oh, can you? Okay. Your video is just a little frozen on my side. So let's talk about that just a little bit, because that's kind of the next phase. You and I have talked about this a lot within your business. And since you're pretty well set up financially with your wife and your kids, and their futures are pretty well taken care of, they can live a good life regardless of decisions at this point. I mean, obviously make reasonable decisions, but so the next part's about legacy and kind of giving back. And that seems like something you've started giving more thought to here just over the last 12 months.
Yeah. I mean, so, once you have got the money piece of your life figured out, you just think about, especially now that I'm 50 years old, you're closer to the end than the beginning. You're just thinking about what kind of legacy do you want to live and leave. And, for me, it's just, we're going to give.
And I know we got some cool things coming up with that. And the people that are part of the VIP All-In Networker group are going to, get a more of a firsthand look at some of that, which is pretty cool. But that's kind of where you go, because at some point when you have these other pieces taken care of, it's thinking about, how people remember you on the other side. So, and, what do they say? Because that part's important as well. You want to make sure you leave a good imprint on the earth while we are here. Hey, what's up, you guys? It's Dan, and I want to take 30 seconds to introduce you to networkerpro.io, because right now they got a free 14-day trial going on. If you've learned one thing listening to Dr. Pietsch and myself, it's that systems and automation are the way to build a big team. The way to get the big whales on your team is to have proper systems and automation in your business, and Networker Pro can do that for you. You can build all of your websites, your lead generation funnels, your email automation. It's a complete CRM. The calendar is built right into it, so you don't need to integrate with a different calendar. It is all right there. And right now you can go test it out on a 14-day trial for absolutely nothing. So I'm really excited about it. I'm fortunate that I was able to partner with some developers and have them build a software that became the backbone for what I believe is the #1 network marketers tool out there on the market today. All right, let's get back to the podcast. All right, so we were talking about getting through the wealth phase. We were talking about the legacy phase. You're saying a bunch of things about some of the stuff that we have coming up and some of the stuff that you have coming up, because for all practical purposes now, you're set up for the rest of your life. Your kids are more than set up through the investments and decisions like that you made, which we're still going to talk about that on another episode, is how to properly handle money once you start getting it. We'll talk about that in another episode, though. But you made great decisions that'll take care of them in theory, if they make good decisions, forever. So the next phase, this remaining part of your life, it's about legacy. It's about what are they going to say about you after you're gone, right?
Yep. Yeah. So, I don't know if they can hear me, so we'll just cover it again. But, we made a decision a while back where we're going to start a center and build that sucker out. And our goal is to make $1 million in the next 3 years and give that to charity. And so, that's the next thing that I'm working on, and we're excited about it. So, yeah, I mean, again, as you get older and once you get your finances in order and you've really, it, you just really start to think about legacy. What example do I want to leave for my daughters and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And and I know we're working on there because I've been helping you work on it and doing a lot of the marketing for it and stuff like that. And it's just fun. And when you get to a certain level, the residual checks coming in every month, they are a certain dopamine hit that you get. If we go back to that a little bit. But we've talked about this, and within, building this new center and going out and cranking out and doing some different things, that it changes the reasoning. And all of a sudden, if that reasoning for doing the business is to help other people, it gives you a different kind of adrenaline rush, which is just as powerful, and it helps everything along the way. Not to mention, does a lot of good for a lot of people. A lot of people get to be a part of it. It's a fun thing to talk about. It's a fun thing to do. There's so many positives. I've had a hard time. Well, we've been, creating this and launching everything for you on your team and stuff, finding the negatives.
Yeah, everybody wins. That's what's great about it.
Right.
It really is. And, it's cool. There's just so many people that want to help and give and contribute. And at the same time, we got to get, people in that are going to be building a business and they're going to win too.
Right. Yeah. It's like help more people so you can help charity. And so you can, I mean, it's, yeah, when we were writing some of the sales copy for one of your websites, I was writing, well, it's a win-win situation. Then I thought of more wins, win situation. I'm like, it's a win-win, win-win situation. I'm like, this is too many wins, too many things to explain here. But at the same time, it really does. And that's, which is really network marketing as a whole is designed to be a win-win-win situation. It's that you help people win, you win, but you can also help charities win and you win. You can help a charity win by helping somebody else win. The charity wins and it just keeps going. And I love the holistic nature of all of it right now. So that part's really exciting. And it's, I guess congratulations to you for being in that phase of your life to where those are things that you can really, truly think about. And you can put your energy towards those kinds of efforts as opposed to trying to figure out, how am I going to put gas in the car? How am I going to pay the bills next month? How am I going to get my residual to a point where I don't have to work nonstop?
Yeah, we're not going to be begging people to get in, we're going to work with the people that recognize what is available to them and the resources that we bring to the table, through expertise and being able to do it for a long period of time, and our willingness to teach people how to do it that want to learn how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, it's exciting. So, this whole show wasn't meant to be a plug for the VIP networker, all in networker group, but it's turning into it a little bit. So anybody who's interested and wants to see like a lot of the behind the scenes of the things that we're creating and that team that Dr. Pietsch is creating towards the legacy run, as we call it, are going to be inside of that group. And that's where we're going to talk about that stuff. We want to keep it a private group, kind of a small, intimate area. And so if people are interested in learning more about that, we'll definitely put the link in the show notes. If you're interested, we do a lot of different things in there to support the network marketing community as a whole. So, all right, cool. Well, that's kind of what I got for the day. Doc, you got anything else you want to leave people with?
Get through that first one. You got to get to the point where you've got income $1 higher than your residual bills, because you can't give money away unless you have it.
Right. Yeah, it's maybe you shouldn't look past that so much. I mean, it's kind of fun to look far off into the future. Do that at night when you're dreaming, but when you wake up during the day, just look at that first goal and sprint to that as fast as you can. So very good. All right. Well, appreciate you always, Doc. Appreciate you as always, Doc. I'm tongue-tied today. That's okay. People just know it's authentic then. And for everybody who's listening, please rate, subscribe to this episode. Check us out over on YouTube. Subscribe over there as well. We would appreciate it. Share it like crazy if you got some value. Hop on over to the All In Networker VIP group and check that out. See if that's something that'd be a fit for you. We'd love to have you there. So, all right, appreciate you guys as always. Talk to you soon. Hey, thanks for listening to the All In Networker podcast. Dr. David Pietsch and I greatly appreciate it. If you receive some value or you know somebody that would receive some value, please share this episode with them. We want to pick up the entire industry, help serve the entire industry of network marketing. We believe that when other network marketers win, we all win. So on top of that, if you'd like to check out some of our free trainings, you can go to allinnetworker.com. Otherwise, please just rate, subscribe to this episode, this podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd greatly appreciate it. And until next time, thanks a lot.